on a Saturday morning, you can take your child to the Green Thumb Festival at Walter Fuller, kayak through the mangroves at Wheaton Island, bike along Coffee Pot Boulevard, play around at Mangrove Bay, spend the afternoon at Sunken Gardens, play disc golf at Maxwell Park, explore Boyd Hill, visit the pier, a museum, or the Grand Prix, experience the Deuces, the Warehouse Arts District, Grand Central, and stop by the Obama Library for story time. Every district, every neighborhood, every inch of our city matters. That is the spirit of St. Petersburg, and that spirit is not accidental. It is built day by day by people who care enough to show up. So as we look toward 2026, our charge is clear. Protect what works, improve what doesn't, and prepare boldly for what will come next. Because the future of St. Petersburg will not be defined by one project, one plan, or one moment. It will be defined by how we treat each other so we can have a city where strangers become neighbors, how we steward what we have been given, and whether the people who come after us inherit a city that works, a city that cares, and a city that's worth protecting. Thank you. And now it is my great honor to welcome our mayor, Kenneth T. Welch.
Good morning, St. Pete. How are y'all doing? Y'all need some more kawa? How are y'all doing? Thank you, Chair Hanowitz, for the introduction. To Chair Floyd and the members of City Council, and I was told Councilmember Deborah Fix Sanders is here as well. I wanted to acknowledge her. And County Commissioner Renee Flowers is with us. To the entire council, our dedicated employees of the best team in public service, our St. Pete team. And to all the community members, faith and community leaders, the business and arts community, and everyone assembled here today and joining us virtually. Thank you all for being here this morning and for your partnership throughout the year. I want to thank everyone who's participated so far. This has been an amazing program. I've been watching it on Facebook from the back. So to all the artists, to act, to everyone, they were fabulous, but a special welcome to our newly appointed Poet Laureate, Denzel Johnson Green. Best wishes to those of the Islamic faith observing Ramadan, which began last evening, and those of the Christian faith observing Lent, which begins today with Ash Wednesday. And a special note of gratitude for the life and work of Reverend Jesse Jackson, who was a leader in many ways, made it possible for young men like me and Councilmember Givens and others to know that we could achieve anything and that we were somebody. And we just want to acknowledge his passing, the passing of a great civil rights leader in Reverend Jesse Jackson. A special thanks to Paul Wilborn and the Palladium team for hosting us for the third year in a row, and we're looking forward to the unveiling of your upcoming renovations. Now, those in public service know that when you serve, your entire family serves. So I'd also like to recognize my family members who are with us today, my wife, Donna, 35 years and counting. I'm married a Glimpse Gladiator, so it's working out. We overcame that. And my daughter, Kenya, is with us today as well. MJ, she went to Northeast. I don't know how that happened. And to my mom, Aletha, and my sister, Katrina, who are watching us virtually, and to my entire family, no matter where you are, thank you for your love and support. Now, thank y'all. Now, 2025 was a year of recovery. The past year tested our resolve to recover. Hurricanes Helene and Milton left their mark on our our homes, our businesses, our infrastructure, and our sense of security. Our families and neighborhoods face disruption and uncertainty. But storms do not define St. Petersburg. How we recover defines who we are. Over the past year, we've continued the hard work of recovery, accelerating infrastructure repairs, strengthening our stormwater systems, restoring public facilities, and supporting residents and small businesses in rebuilding stronger than before. We move with urgency, but also with intention, knowing that resilience is not simply about restoring what was, it is about preparing for what lies ahead. We're investing in smarter infrastructure, modernizing our systems, hardening our facilities, and building a city that can meet future challenges while continuing to thrive. These challenges have also reminded us what makes St. Petersburg exceptional. It is neighbor helping neighbor. It's community, faith-based, and business organizations stepping up to support recovery efforts. It's partners delivering critical resources. It's our city employees working tirelessly and innovating to meet new challenges. And it's collaboration with our local, state, and federal partners. That spirit of shared responsibility, that unity of purpose is key and is our greatest strength as we recover. As we continue in 2026, the state of our city is strong, resilient, and focused on continued progress. We are not just recovering, we are investing strategically and intentionally in our 5 pillars: housing opportunities for all, neighborhood health and safety, environment, infrastructure, and resilience, equitable development, the arts and business opportunities, and education and youth opportunities. Our commitment to principled and inclusive progress is part of our DNA. It's who we are. As our city grows and evolves, we will continue to plan and act in ways that ensure that everyone can participate in and benefit from that progress. And when we face challenges, and we will, whether storms in the Gulf or the political storms of inequity, misinformation, and political agendas, we will face those threats directly with facts, strategy, action, and perseverance. As a city, we rise, we rebuild, we invest, and we move forward together. We continue to work according to our guiding principles of governance, which include in-touch leadership, inclusive governance, innovative solutions, information-based decision-making, intentional equity, impactful service delivery. These guiding principles, along with our pillars for progress, set the framework for everything that our city does. Our planning, our budgeting, and operations reflect these principles and pillars, and our commitment to equity is foundational to our work. I want to thank our leadership team and team members for embracing our principles and pillars for progress. And as I share a few examples of the progress we made in 2025 and this year in each pillar, you'll also hear directly from some of our residents. First, housing opportunities for all. Safe, affordable housing strengthens families, improves neighborhoods, and benefits the entire city. We remain committed to expanding housing access through innovative programs that help residents find, maintain, and afford their homes amid rising costs. In 2025, 434 multifamily affordable workforce units, 122 accessory dwelling units, and 24 affordable homes were completed, while 189 affordable townhomes were in development on city-owned land. St. Petersburg became the first city in Florida to adopt the Yes in God's Backyard provision, empowering faith-based organizations to use underutilized land to expand affordable housing opportunities. Through targeted assistance, prevention efforts, and strategic investments, the city helped residents gain or maintain stable, affordable housing and remain safely in their homes. And the city's Codes Compliance Assistance Program helped property owners address safety hazards, while our strategic investments in property dispositions expanded housing opportunities, supported first-time buyers, and strengthened the city's capacity to deliver future affordable and workforce housing. Now let's hear from Gabrielle Wilson, who benefited from our Housing Opportunities for All plan.
Before I got to Whispering Pines, I was actually in the process of being evicted from my apartment in Largo. I had just lost my child care and then I lost my job, so we were kind of scrambling to figure out what our next steps were going to be. I first heard about Whispering Pines from an outreach center that I went to in Clearwater to try to help with my eviction. Whispering Pines has been one of the best things that has helped my life within these last few years. There is so much help from the people here. You never feel alone. You never feel stranded. You always have someone to talk to, always have someone to work through your problems with. So I'm very grateful for that. It's given me an opportunity to work on myself and become someone that I can be proud of, someone that my kids can be proud of. They've given me the opportunity to go back to school. I should be graduating next year, so I'm really excited about that. And I don't think that any of that would have been possible without. There's just so much help in this city. There's so many people that care about people and families that are going through a rough time. Go to outreach centers, call 411, anyone that you need to speak with. There is so much help out here for us. You just have to find it.
Thank you, Gabrielle. The exceptional dedication, expertise, and innovation of our housing team are fundamental to the success of these programs. We sincerely thank Administrator Amy Foster, Dr. Avery Sliker, Mark Van Loo, and the entire team for their unwavering commitment to this critical pillar of progress. Where are y'all? All right. Next up is education and youth opportunities. Investing in our children, especially through arts and sciences, makes our community stronger and more vibrant. It sparks curiosity and creates pathways of discovery that benefit our youth and our city's future. My administration prioritizes this commitment, reflected in our continued investment in innovative youth programs and partnerships to prepare them for success and build our future workforce. St. Pete Libraries rolled out the St. Pete Bookmobile, our traveling library, and reopened the much anticipated and much loved President Barack Obama Main Library. Y'all need to applaud that. Where's Jeffries? You ought to have him fired up. What's going on? The city and USF St. Petersburg collaborated to create the first ever Camp Bullseye for middle and high school students. There you go. And for the second year, St. Pete Fire Rescue hosted Camp Ignite, empowering teenage girls through hands-on fire and EMS training. The Early Learning Literacy Guide connected more than 1,000 St. Pete families to free literacy tools and support. And city libraries engaged nearly 18,000 youth through reading, play, and learning activities. The city expanded learning opportunities and helped children and youth thrive in and out of the classroom with programs like the RISE pilot program, the Community Impact Youth Summer Enhancement Initiative, and City of the Arts grants. Our police department, the best in the nation, expanded programs like the Youth Champions Initiative and Forward Together, designed to empower youth leaders, promote safety, break the cycle of generational crime, and strengthen pathways to future careers. Parks and recreation. It starts in parks. Okay, I've said it. I've said it. Provided safe, engaging spaces where teens could connect, explore interests, and build skills through arts, sports, culture, and technology. Last year, we launched the new Friday Night Teen Flex that rotates around the city's rec centers. Way past my bedtime, but I hear it's going very well. TASCO, Teen Arts, Sports, and Cultural Opportunities expanded youth engagement before and after school programs, enriched over 3,600 students with learning and skills. And the city began a 5-year partnership with the USF College of Marine Science for the Clam Bayou Marine Education Center. To reduce childhood homelessness and support young people during critical transitions, the city created targeted programs that promote housing stability and long-term opportunity, investing $260,000 in the Childhood Homelessness Project and $1 million in ARPA funds for youth opportunity grants. And now we'll hear from one of those recipients, Melina Serrano, a recipient of the Youth Opportunity Grant.
About a year ago, I was in some financial straits and really struggling with some personal hardships in my life, with just relationships and lack of support. I signed up for these emails and all these newsletters like a year ago, and I got a email about the Youth Opportunity Grant. It kind of was a design to support foster youth. You get a $500 stipend for 12 months, no questions asked, no strings attached. It just gave me that confidence in myself that even if I was going to have like a lack of income, I always had that to rely on, no matter what was going on. And I was able to save it for a new vehicle. It showed me that with, the right follow through and the right discipline, that it can change your outcome. It's very important for a lot of the foster youth and underprivileged to have that chance to just be believed in. The goals that you have aren't just going to be dreams anymore. You can actually see the possibilities because you have your whole team there with you and you have the funding to support it.
Thank you, Melina. We're continuing our investments to empower youth for the workforce and career opportunities. As y'all know, I'm so proud of the work our team has done with the Mayor's Future Ready Academy, an innovative job training program providing full-time pay, benefits, and hands-on training in city departments. So far, 45 cadets have graduated from the program since the first cohort in spring 2024. Of the 45 who have graduated, 28 have received full-time positions with the city. And the fifth cohort began February 2nd. If you're a current or former cadet in the Mayor's Future Ready Academy, please stand so you can be recognized. Thank you all. We're proud of you. Thank you. I want to thank our entire team under Administrator Rob Gertis, HR Director Chris Guella, Faith Silver, Latanya Barnes, and all of the participating team members, administrators, and departments, and mentors for this incredible program that provides real career opportunities in public service and helps meet our need to fill important jobs in the city. Next is neighborhood health and safety. Safe and healthy neighborhoods are the heart of a strong city. The city's commitment to neighborhood well-being includes investments in public safety, community health, and neighborhood resources to create neighborhoods where everyone can thrive. Our team continued their focused work to make our neighborhoods healthier and safer. Total crime in general was down 16% in 2025. Also, that's worth a hand. Also, in 2025, St. Pete recorded the lowest number of homicides since I was 3 years old, since 1967. Unfortunately, that number was 10 homicides. Targeted infrastructure investments, improved street safety, expanded walking and biking options made it easier for residents to move through their neighborhoods. These investments include 5 pedestrian safety projects near the Innovation District, updates to the neighborhood traffic calming program, new sidewalks, protected bike lanes and trail connections, earning us the official designation of a trail town by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection last month. Focused investments like our police department's Home for the Holidays initiative and expanded drone operations, plus 3 new high water rescue vehicles for St. Pete Fire Rescue. Thank you, Chair Hanowitz and Council, for that. Strengthened public safety, improved emergency response, and helped to protect our residents. The Office of Community Impact advanced resident-focused initiatives and addressed longstanding barriers to financial stability by securing a $100,000 grant to engage residents and gather community-driven data on financial empowerment needs. Through the Opioid Supports Grants Program, targeted investments expanded life-saving outreach by distributing more than 6,700 doses of Narcan, connecting more than 4,000 people to care. We strengthen safety nets for seniors, vulnerable residents, and people experiencing homelessness with our allocation of $100,000 for Meals on Wheels and $1.5 million to agencies to prevent homelessness and support individuals and families experiencing housing instability. Community-led initiatives included 24 community cleanups, which removed 50 tons of trash from streets, parks, and public spaces, and investments like the 900 newly installed storm drain placards keep neighborhoods clean and protect local waterways. Resident engagement and leadership development efforts, including the annual Mayor's Neighborhood Summit, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Service mini grants, and our ongoing Word with Welch gatherings and City Hall on Tour series, strengthen neighborhood connections, keeping us in touch and empowering communities to shape St. Pete's future. Partnerships with AARP and Fit Lot and healthy living programs like Healthy St. Pete, Get Fit St. Pete, and the Sunshine Mind Project expanded access to mental health support, fitness opportunities, and critical resources for more than 10,000 residents of all ages. Investments in Safe Summer Fridays and the Avara Health Partnership and the Community Food Grant Program expanded safe spaces, dental health services, and supported programs that help St. Pete youth grow, thrive, and stay connected. And targeted recovery funding helped residents rebuild. Rapid resolution funding provided over $60,000 to 29 residents for critical needs such as rent and utility payments, helping prevent eviction and displacement. And through contributions totaling more than $1 million made to the We Are St. Pete Fund, more than 200 residents and 20 small businesses received direct financial support to recover from the hurricane. And now we'll hear from Estella Padron, who received assistance through the We Are St. Pete Fund.
Last year, Milton was really, really bad. Even though I wasn't home, I know there was Milton damage almost everywhere. I wasn't really sure of, the condition of my roof. To find out that yes, there was damage, I let my insurance company know what happened. So I did the paperwork with them. They were able to help me. Like half of what the cost was, I say, well, I don't think this is enough money to fix my roof. That was really a terrible feeling because I'm thinking, okay, finding out that I was only going to get half of what the damage cost. I said, oh, wow, I just feel kind of devastated because I say, there's no way I can afford it. I heard on the news that the city of St. Pete had funds for Milton's damage for homeowners. So I thought, oh, wow, well, this is an answer to my prayers because I didn't know which way to go. So then I applied to the city of St. Pete, and the process was wonderful. Before you know it, they say, yes, you're approved. So they started the process on getting my roof done. I'm just very thankful for all the work that the city is doing in not only my situation, but everyone else. And that makes the everyone to kind of love St. Pete because it's such a good city. It's been a blessing to me and my family, and I'm very thankful for.
Thank you, Estella. Next is the Environment, Infrastructure, and Resilience pillar. The hurricanes of 2024 provided a powerful lesson on the need to invest in building a stronger city. A city with infrastructure built to handle the new challenges presented by our changing climate, including historic storm surge levels, record rain events, and increased tidal flooding. Over the past year, the city significantly advanced our commitment to environmental stewardship, resilient infrastructure, and long-term sustainability. Strategic investments in stormwater and coastal protection, coupled with forward-thinking planning, have made considerable strides to make us a more resilient community. To respond more effectively to climate challenges, the city accelerated resilience planning while working directly with neighborhoods most impacted by the storms. The city launched SPAR, the St. Pete Agile Resilience Plan, fast-tracking infrastructure projects and advancing more than $545 million in long-term budgeted investments to deliver protection sooner and strengthen long-term resilience. The Resilient St. Pete Neighborhood Pilot Project engaged residents in 9 flood-prone neighborhoods, combining listening sessions, walking tours, and hands-on workshops to better understand local flooding issues. The city prioritized repairing key facilities and strengthening infrastructure to better protect residents and prepare for the future storms that are inevitable. 89 resilience and infrastructure projects were completed, delivering more than $47 million in improvements while coming in $5.7 million under budget time. Storm-related repairs advanced steadily across major city facilities, with projects at Tropicana Field, Bear Creek Canal, Lake Vista Recreation Center, Fifth Avenue North Seawall, Eden Island Seawall, and Al Lang Stadium all completed within budget. Critical infrastructure hardening continued at water and wastewater facilities, including elevating electrical equipment and installing flood barriers at the Northeast Water Reclamation Facility and Lift Station 85. And we launched major flood mitigation projects in some of the most storm-vulnerable areas, including Basin C improvements, pump station upgrades, lake enhancements, and new backflow preventer installations, with additional projects scheduled to begin in this fiscal year. We're also using new technology to help residents better understand flood risk and make informed decisions about their homes and neighborhoods. The city launched Prepare St. Pete, an easy-to-use online mapping tool that allows residents and businesses to view flood zones, evacuation areas, and other critical information in one place. We are also focused on helping residents recover, stabilize their homes, and reduce future risks. We invested $4.5 million in disaster relief and housing stabilization, launched a private lateral lines program for sewer lateral inspection and repair rebates, and completed an advanced metering infrastructure pilot for faster post-storm leak detection. The city also improved how residents and visitors move through our city by investing in transportation improvements. We converted 15 traffic signals in West St. Pete to real-time smart signals. We secured over $20 million in state funding for downtown's 3rd and 4th Streets two-way conversion and expanded shared scooter options, which resulted in over 275,000 trips with vendor fees reinvested in citywide infrastructure. We modernized key facilities for better efficiency, sustainability, and reliable public services, especially during emergencies, including upgraded fleet facilities, a new laboratory at the Water Resource Department complex, and construction of the new Benjamin F. Shirley Sr. Building at the Joseph E. Savage Sanitation Complex, which consolidates sanitation department operations and serves as an emergency operations sub-center. Parks and Recreation continue to preserve natural spaces, enhance parkland, and incorporate environmentally friendly practices that protect habitats and improve quality of life for our residents. The city acquired additional parkland to expand green spaces at Puryear Park, Harbordale Park, and Bartlett Park. These expansions enhance recreational opportunities, provide more space for residents to enjoy, and support flood mitigation. Our St. Pete team's efforts are centered on building resiliency, championing innovation, protecting our environment, and fostering community engagement. The challenges we've long anticipated in this region are now undeniably here. Yet by working collaboratively, we are ensuring St. Pete remains a resilient, vibrant, and sustainable home for everyone. Now let's hear from Alex Green, who participated in the first phase of the Resilient St. Pete Action Plan.
First storm that came through, we actually got 5.5 feet, almost 6 feet of storm surge. It did submerge my garage completely, and it was white capping into my neighbors' homes. I was very blessed and fortunate. Yes, I had to replace the roof, I had to redo the garage and the electrical, but that's nothing compared to the neighbors that were displaced. Being able to stand there and say, you work on your home, I'll work on the street, I'll work on the neighborhood, I'll work on the community for you, I think has been really beneficial. I think the city's finally taken it seriously. In 5 years, we are going to get very much needed infrastructure, at least in this area. And in the meantime, the city's working to do smaller projects. So I'm working with the Alley Works director, and we're going to start redoing some of the alleys in the area, which will definitely help with the grading of the stormwater. I will say the community here is phenomenal. Hey, Eugene, how you doing? All right, sounds good. I don't want my community or my street to achieve better without helping the street next to us. We're all in this together, so I think that's something to remember, just kindness, and I think that's why we've been able to get this small little neighborhood on the map for future improvements.
Thank you, Alex. Equitable economic development remains central to the city's commitment for a thriving St. Petersburg, where growth creates opportunity for everyone. Through creative programs that support inclusive development, targeted assistance to help residents rebuild, and continued investment in our vibrant arts scene, the city is working to ensure progress is shared across all communities. St. Pete sustained strong momentum in development and investment, reflecting a year defined by rebuilding, renewal, and continued confidence in the city's future. The building department processed more than 54,000 permits, representing $1.4 billion in construction activity. More than 100,000 inspections supported safe and efficient project delivery citywide. Commercial development advanced with 27 new commercial buildings, and neighborhood reinvestment continued through 8,700 residential and commercial renovation projects. Following the 2024 hurricanes, the city provided targeted permitting relief and direct financial support for residents and businesses to rebuild. By waiving fees for post-disaster emergency permits, the city issued over 15,600 permits, providing more than $3 million in fee relief. This accelerated citywide recovery, supporting over $315 million in storm-related construction. In 2025, the city advanced key infrastructure projects that improved access, mobility, and convenience for residents while supporting continued economic growth. A new parking garage opened in the Edge District, adding 400 public parking spaces and easing access to downtown. The city reached an agreement to acquire a 1-mile CSX rail segment to extend the Booker Creek Trail north from the historic gas plant site, creating new recreational access and future commercial opportunities along the corridor. Bike share access expanded into Central and West St. Pete to give residents more flexible, affordable transportation options. The city supported St. Pete's thriving arts community by investing in artists, supporting small arts organizations, and expanding creative experiences for residents of all ages. The City of Writers Poetry Festival returned for its third year. The city invested $200,000 in 40 individual artist grants to support local artists, and 10 small nonprofit arts organizations received Level Up grants for community-based projects, youth programs, and cultural storytelling. The city also expanded business opportunities and workforce pathways by investing in small businesses, building capacity, and helping entrepreneurs grow. The South St. Petersburg CRA Microfund Program concluded after supporting 196 small businesses with education, mentoring, and $1.4 million to implement growth plans without upfront capital. 24 entrepreneurs graduated from the GROW program, gaining technical assistance to pursue city SBE MWBE certification. Expanded transit and new mobility partnerships increased access to work and school, reducing car dependence. Free PSTA passes supported more than 1,400 residents monthly, a 35% increase. Sunrunner service added 15-minute evening frequency on weekends, and agreements were finalized for year-round premium ferry service between downtown St. Pete and Tampa starting this year. And through our ARPA-funded shared services organization, 66 nonprofits receive free administrative and capacity building support to better serve our community. And now we'll hear, I heard a cheer, was that a cheer? And now we'll hear from Shared Services Organization participants Germano and Emma Coker, who run St. Pete Fight Club, a nonprofit martial arts school.
The Hypatia Collaborative is an organization that has facilitated us meeting different vendors to help us really address things that we really didn't know that we needed to address. They're, I would say, like a community for nonprofits that connects nonprofits together with other nonprofits to help us achieve our goals. I think it's extremely important to have initiatives like this. It's been just game changing for us. If you're considering getting into the shared services office, you should absolutely do it. If there's a way that this resource could remain something that nonprofits could continually tap into, that would be amazing. Because I feel like it's been a lifeline for us, and I'm sure it would do the same for countless other nonprofits who could use their help.
Thank you, Germano. Let me take a moment to recognize the people we met in the videos. Gabrielle, Melina, Estella, Alex, Germano, and Emma. Please stand so we can show you our appreciation. Thank you all. Thank you all. Now, I've only touched on some of the highlights from 2025. For a more comprehensive list, be sure to pick up a printed copy of the 2025 progress report or click on the QR code, which should be above me. Is it? Okay. Or go to stpete.org/mayor to see the digital version. Now, a look ahead. In 2026, we will continue to focus on the essential work of building a stronger, more resilient St. Pete. With our focus on inclusive progress, our priorities include supporting new technology and innovation, moving forward on major enterprise projects, including the Manhattan Casino and the Municipal Marina, preparing a $600 million referendum for water and stormwater infrastructure resilience, and continuing the housing opportunities for all program. Technology and innovation. This is not my grandfather's St. Pete anymore. St. Pete is entering a period of significant transformation driven by tech migration, infrastructure investments, and long-awaited redevelopment. And we are improving our own technology platforms as well with the implementation of the Tyler Suite, replacing decades-old technology, impacting multiple systems from billing to permitting. The new technology will provide better functionality, customer experience, and reliability for our core systems. Moving on to enterprise projects. This year, we celebrate progress on two key projects. The long-awaited reopening of the Manhattan Casino is more than just a restoration. It's the revival of a cultural landmark and anchor of the 22nd Street corridor. Its return honors the Deuce's legacy while creating new space for arts, culture, and economic opportunity. We anticipate the Manhattan Casino will open this summer. We also continue advancing the redevelopment of the St. Petersburg Municipal Marina with a long-term modernization plan to strengthen docks, infrastructure, and amenities, with another significant step happening this week with interviews of the design build team respondents to our request for qualifications. Together, these projects demonstrate our commitment to preserving what makes St. Pete special, while investing in resilient, forward-looking assets that support residents, visitors, and small businesses alike. In addition to technology and innovation, we're also focused on infrastructure resilience and our commitment to protecting our environment and working towards a more sustainable, resilient city. After the storms of 23 and 24, as we visited neighborhoods and in public conversations, we were often asked the question, what will the city do to deal with the flooding from storms, tidal flooding, and even heavy thunderstorms, flooding that we have not experienced on a regular basis in the past? The answer is straightforward. Our infrastructure needs to be substantially improved to meet the weather challenges that we are experiencing, including the storms of 2024. Now, past planning and investments did, in fact, take place, but the weather impacts that we are experiencing now simply are much greater than was forecast and require that we have a more agile and impactful response to meet our current and future challenges. To meet that goal, we're planning on asking the voters to approve a general obligation bond to fund approximately $600 million in sewer system upgrades, flooding solutions, and other neighborhood improvement projects. This is in addition to the work we've already completed. Under our St. Pete Agile Resilience Plan, or SPAR, we fast-tracked the completion of several infrastructure projects, but the resources needed to make a more substantial impact to deal with the water we're seeing now, to meet the objectives of the Stormwater Master Plan, require a higher level of funding, and we need the funding now in the near term. The proposed SPAR bond funding will allow us to move forward more rapidly on the infrastructure improvements we need to handle the impacts of sea level rise, extreme weather, and flooding that we are experiencing in neighborhoods across the city, without relying exclusively on water and sewer rate increases to fund these projects. We're also moving forward with a $160 million partnership with the federal government through Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Funding, which we call Sunrise St. Pete. This funding will support long-term recovery efforts from Hurricanes Idalia and Helene, with a substantial portion of that funding going to residents, including rehabilitation, reconstruction, and elevation assistance, reimbursement for repair, and disaster relief payments in the form of reimbursements for rent, mortgage, and utility payments. Now, St. Pete was one of only 2 Florida cities to directly receive this funding. After some delay because of the federal government shutdown, not this one, but the previous one, we have received final approval, and we anticipate initial disbursements of funds next month. Thanks to Administrator Amy Foster, Aubrey Phillips, David Thompson, Jess Rydell, all of our grants team, and our supporting departments for your skill and commitment to substantially expand our grant awards to fund these essential projects. Please give them a hand. Finally, let's talk about housing. Across the nation, housing affordability is a huge challenge, and in St. Pete, we're impacted by this trend as well. We're working in partnership with the private sector, with federal, state, and local governments and nonprofits to meet that challenge. This upcoming weekend, Habitat for Humanity is cutting the ribbon on The Grove, 10 affordable townhomes for folks making 80% area median income. In the coming months, Deuce is Rising with 24 townhomes, half at 80% AMI, half at 120, will be completed. We've made progress on a significant number of affordable housing projects recently, including the groundbreaking for Pelican Place townhomes with Habitat for Humanity Gulfside, which will offer 40 affordable home ownership opportunities, and the Fairfield Avenue Apartments, which will build 264 units, all of which are affordable or workforce housing. And another first for St. Pete, Fairfield Avenue Apartments is the first development in the state to take advantage of state legislation that provides flexibility to convert commercial or industrial land into affordable or workforce housing. Once again, St. Pete is leading the way. And we recently cut the ribbon on Skyway Lofts 2, another affordable housing partnership with Blue Sky Development, adding another 66 affordable units to Skyway Lofts 1, which is just 4 years old, for a total of 131 affordable units, units that will remain affordable for 99 years, thanks to Pinellas County's partnership. Thank you, Commissioner Flowers. And those are just some of the affordable housing successes that we've partnered in, and more are on the way. Right now, there are 238 workforce units and 571 affordable units under construction. Many of these units will come into completion before the end of the year. Developments like the Ed White campus, which will be home for seniors, Skytown, Vincentian Village, which will serve veterans, and Palm Lakes, which will serve families. Projects like these are essential to ensuring that our growth is equitable. They help us address the rising cost of living, preserve the character of our neighborhoods, and make sure that St. Pete's progress benefits the people who have built this community and contributed to our success. As you can see, our St. Pete team is making impactful progress every day. I'd like to express my thanks to everyone on our St. Pete team who keep our city running and who are setting the standard for public service. To my cabinet, including Administrator Rob Gerdes, Police Chief Anthony Holloway, Fire Rescue Chief Keith Watts, who is in Tallahassee right now. Y'all pray for him. City Attorney Jackie Kovalarich, Chief of Staff Doyle Wall, to our City Council, to all of our administrators, the Mayor's Office staff, City Clerk's Office, Council Administration, our audit team, and all of your team members. You lead 3,800 employees who set the standard, who serve our city with excellence. And most of all, to every city employee in every department from accounting to zoning, A to Z. Thank you for your amazing work in service to our community 24/7, every day of the week. We have two new members of the team who I'd like to shout out to. First, Nathan Brummer, our new LGBTQ plus liaison. Nathan, where are you? I can't see anything, so I'm assuming, okay, they're pointing over there, okay. We were in Tallahassee last week, so we're still recovering, I get it. Nathan is a key addition, serving as our connector between government, community partners, and the LGBTQ community. His leadership and experience is helping us continue to advance equity and ensure that St. Pete remains a welcoming home for all. And next is Deneen Wyman, who brings a wealth of, where's Deneen? Oh, right next to Nathan, okay. Who brings a wealth of strategic community engagement experience with Pinellas County Schools now to our St. Pete team, and is now community engagement coordinator in the mayor's office. Deneen, thank you for joining our team. I still get some shade when I walk into schools now, so I guess they're in their feelings, but glad to have you here. Now, one more thing. It has become a tradition, not by planning, but by circumstance, that I've concluded each State of the City address with remarks on the historic gas plant district development. And this year is no exception. Let's start with the near-term component. Tropicana Field and the amazing work of our team and our contractors to restore that iconic structure that symbolized the destruction brought by Hurricane Milton. After the storms, we made the difficult but responsible decision to repair Tropicana Field, protecting a major public asset, leveraging insurance, federal and state support, and meeting our contractual obligations to the Tampa. It was an historic undertaking, replacing an iconic fixed dome roof, coordinating structural assessments, managing global supply chains, working with the Rays and Major League Baseball on technical requirements, and sequencing interior restoration, all while maintaining strict timelines and budget discipline. This project required extraordinary focus and expertise, and personally prayer for a quiet 2025 hurricane season. Today, the roof has been fully replaced, the playing surface installed, and final interior work is underway, positioning the facility to reopen on schedule and under budget. I want to especially recognize Beth Herendine, Raul Quintana, Kat Corcoran, and City Development Administrator James Corbett and our city team for their professionalism and tenacity throughout this complex effort. Where are you, Beth and Kat? Probably working somewhere. Right over there? Okay. All right. Their steady leadership, along with our dedicated contractors, ensured that what could have been an ongoing and significant economic and community loss instead became a powerful example of excellence in project design and management, collaboration, and leadership. Kudos to our team. Now, let's talk longer term. Let me speak plainly and directly to the community about moving forward on the historic gas plant district development. Nearly 40 years after the original gas plant community was uprooted, we have before us a real opportunity, not simply to plan or convene yet again, but to act, to move forward, to finally transform vacant lots into assets that will benefit our community for generations to come. That is the path that I've consistently conveyed to council and to the public throughout the process of terminating the Hines-Rays agreements last summer. After terminating the agreements, receiving a viable unsolicited proposal, and extending the total time for alternative proposal submission, now is not the time to halt the process. Now, I agree that we should plan first, as some are calling for. In my view, other than the initial construction of Tropicana Field, which began 40 years ago in 1986, planning is in fact the only thing we've done on that site. Over the past decade, this site has been studied, discussed, and planned extensively, including the 2016 HKS master planning process, the 2020 Duke Energy Site Readiness Plan, the 2020 Tropicana Field Request for Proposals with a detailed development plan, the 2022 Historic Gas Plant RFP that concluded with a set of 12 agreements, including a detailed development plan approved by City Council in July of 2024, as well as our planning guidelines in the future land use code and our zoning guidelines that direct density and development, and the in-town and in-town west CRA development plans. We have planned extensively. We've also convened our community to hear what the community's priorities should be. In December 2021, as mayor-elect, before I was sworn in, we held community conversations in partnership with the Foundation for a Healthy St. Pete, CONA, SPC, and USF St. Pete, focused on the 5 pillars for progress. Tropicana Field development, as it was called then, was a topic that came up dozens of times from the attendees. For example, in response to a question concerning barriers to equitable development and business opportunities, one participant said, quote, "Nothing is occurring. As a child growing up in the Tropicana neighborhood, we did not benefit as we were told." Another participant said, quote, "We must acknowledge what happened to the Black community. 800 families kicked out, jobs and churches kicked out. Redevelopment of Tropicana Field deepens the issue. The political will to displace the district did exist. We need the same will," end quote. That was in December of 2021. 8 months later, after I was sworn in, we conducted a larger convening. Community conversations focused on the historic gas plant district. More than 1,000 attendees participated at locations across the city and virtually. Youth attended a special session at USF St. Pete. Once again, the community conveyed the same priorities. In fact, time after time, our community has consistently told us what the priorities for the historic gas plant redevelopment should be. I call it the J-HOP principles. Just think about J-HOP across the street, the middle school. Jobs, housing, economic opportunity, and honoring the promises made to the community. That's consistently what the community is asking for. The community benefits review process provided additional opportunities for public convening, public comment, and alignment of the proposed development with our community priorities. In 2024, after 4 public meetings, the Community Benefits Advisory Council approved the community benefits package. The community benefits process will apply to any proposal that is selected through the current review process. As mayor, I am comfortable that we understand what the public has consistently stated as priorities. I'm satisfied with the extensive outreach that we've done and the planning that was the basis for the agreements that we celebrated less than 2 years ago. And I'm compelled to honor the promise that I made as a candidate to move us forward on the development of this site if we have a proposal that meets our priorities. With the deadline for alternative proposals now passed and proposals received, a process that has been moving forward for several months, we will continue with a disciplined and transparent evaluation of what has been submitted. Any successful proposal must meet the guiding principles and the J-HOP priorities. Developers are not defining the vision. The people of St. Petersburg already have. Now, experience matters, and because we've already gone through this process, because I've served in elective office for some time because I've been married for 35 years. I know there's a way to get things done. I know you need partnership, and I know power doesn't reside just in one place. I recognize and respect the City Council's role as an essential partner in this process, and I respectfully acknowledge the recent resolution calling for additional planning. So as we continue to evaluate proposals, we will make every reasonable effort to accommodate that request in a way that does not return us to paralysis or postpone the progress that may be possible. Initially, with affordable housing and the new Woodson African American Museum, the first progress that this community will see after waiting generations to see promises fulfilled on this land. So in my direction, our team is actively working to understand the scope and objectives of the proposed additional planning and/or convenings called for by the resolution and identify next steps. As you know, I believe that leadership must be agile, especially in our current environment. I believe that we can address council concerns, be it planning or public safety infrastructure or any other issues mentioned at the recent city council meeting, without stopping a process that is already well underway. We can always improve the process. An administrator of mine once said, you don't have to be sick to get better. But we should not be distracted by the false ideal of a perfect plan, because perfection is in the eye of the beholder. We could easily spend years more debating where the puzzle pieces fit on these 86 acres and still have an asphalt desert instead of any tangible progress. I cannot support that path. The historic gas plant district is not just a redevelopment project. It is a test of whether we keep our promises, whether by election year politics and political agendas, or as the citizen said at our community conversation in December of 2021, whether we have the political will to do the right thing. I believe St. Petersburg is ready to do the right thing and deliver on those promises. As I close, let me leave you with this. St. Petersburg is defined not by the challenges we face, but by the strength of our people and the direction we choose together. When storms tested us, this community showed its character, from removing record amounts of debris to repairing the trop, hardening our infrastructure, and successfully garnering record grant funding for our community. We've proven we can take on big, complex challenges successfully. And that same energy carries us forward. In the year ahead, we will continue doing the work that matters most, creating opportunity, protecting neighborhoods, strengthening infrastructure, expanding access, and ensuring that growth benefits everyone who calls this city home. We will stay focused, we will continue the work, and we will stay committed to progress that is principled, inclusive, and intentional. St. Pete, today the state of our city is strong, our future is bright, because we are St. Pete. May God keep you and God bless you. Thank you.